Welcome to the Deep Dive. You ready to explore some cutting-edge cancer research with me today?
Always. What have we got?
Well, we're diving into this thing called SLAMF7.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Have you?
Yeah, pretty cool.
It sounds pretty amazing, like it's this secret weapon that can unleash the immune system.
Yeah, basically it's like a doorway on certain immune cells.
A doorway.
Yeah, and we can unlock it to trigger a powerful attack against cancer cells.
Oh, wow. That's a really good analogy.
Thanks.
So it's not just theory, though, right? This is actually being used in treatments already.
Yeah, exactly. There's already a treatment for multiple myeloma.
Multiple myeloma.
Using an antibody called Hu19 that targets SLAMF7.
And it's working.
It's showing some pretty amazing results.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm definitely ready to dive deeper into this.
Me too.
Okay, so to understand all this, let's start with the basics.
Okay.
What exactly is SLAMF7, and where does it fit into how the immune system fights cancer?
So imagine your immune system is like this complex security system constantly on patrol,
Okay, I like that.
looking for threats, right?
Right.
You've got your regular guards, your T cells, doing their routine checks.
Okay.
But then you've got these elite special forces,
Oh,
the natural killer cells.
NK cells.
Yep, and they're trained to take out the really bad guys, like cancer cells.
And SLAMF7 is on those NK cells.
Exactly. It's like this special communication channel on them, and when it's activated, it sends a clear signal.
Like destroy.
Exactly. Engage and destroy.
So it's not just any signal, it's making sure those NK cells are targeting cancer cells specifically.
Exactly.
That's pretty awesome.
What's really cool about SLAMF7 is that it doesn't just trigger one single response.
Oh.
It's a multi-pronged attack.
So multiple things are happening at once.
Yeah. First, it's like an alarm telling those NK cells to release their deadly weapons.
What kind of weapons are we talking about?
Cytotoxic molecules.
Subtoxic.
They're like tiny missiles that target and destroy cancer cells
Wow.
directly.
Okay, so that's the direct attack. What else is happening?
Well, SLAMF7 also makes those NK cells even more effective
Right.
by calling in reinforcements.
I like it.
So when SLAMF7 is activated, it stimulates these signaling molecules called cytokines.
Oh, yeah. Cytokines.
And those act like distress signals, bringing in other immune cells to join the fight.
So it's not just a solo mission for the NK cells. It's like a full-blown immune response party.
You got it.
Is there anything else that SLAMF7 does to help fight those cancer cells?
You bet. It also helps refine the targeting of the cancer cells.
Ooh.
Targeting.
Yeah, so you know about antibodies, right?
The flags that mark cells for destruction.
Exactly. Well, sometimes those antibodies attach to cancer cells.
Yeah.
And when SLAMF7 is activated, it enhances a process called ADCC,
ADCC.
antibody-dependent cellular cytotoxicity.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, but it's basically like giving the NK cells a map
A map.
to find those dangerous enemies.
Oh, that's cool. So it makes their attacks more precise.
Exactly. And much more effective. Okay, so we've got the direct attack, the reinforcements, and the precision strike.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What makes SLAMF7 so attractive as a target for cancer therapies then?
Well, one key thing is that in lots of cancers, especially multiple myeloma,
Yeah.
SLAMF7 is overexpressed.
What does overexpressed mean?
It means there's tons of it
Oh.
on the surface of the cancer cells.
Gosh.
So that makes it a great target.
For those antibodies.
Exactly, like Hu19 that we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
because the more SLAMF7 doorways there are,
The more of those
the
doorways
stronger the signal we can send.
to activate the NK cells.
Exactly.
So it's like having more entry points for our immune system to attack.
Exactly.
Now, is that overexpression? Is that just in multiple myeloma?
It's mostly in multiple myeloma,
Oh.
but there's more and more evidence that it's happening in other blood cancers too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma,
Wow.
and even in solid tumors.
Wait, really? I thought you said it was mostly in blood cancers.
Yeah, it is, but it's still present in solid tumors.
Interesting. So even though it's not overexpressed,
It's still a possible target.
yeah, why would that be?
Well, remember, it's not just about the cancer cells themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It's also about the immune cells around the tumor.
The tumor microenvironment.
Uh-huh.
So by targeting SLAMF7 on those cells
We can still manipulate the immune response.
in that area
Yep. And potentially slow down the tumor growth.
and make it weaker.
Exactly. More vulnerable to other treatments.
That's incredible. So it's like setting up a perimeter around the tumor and making it hard for it to spread and grow.
Exactly.
Now, you mentioned Hu19 earlier. Let's dig into that a bit more.
Yeah, okay.
How does this antibody actually work?
It's pretty amazing how it works, actually.
Yeah.
It doesn't just activate NK cells, it also makes the cancer cells more vulnerable.
So it's like a double whammy.
Pretty much.
So it's not just about boosting the immune system, but strategically targeting it.
You got it.
So how does it deal all that?
Well, first, Q19 binds directly to the SLAMF7.
On the NK cells.
Okay.
It's like flipping that destroy switch we talked about.
And that makes the NK cells stronger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Much more effective at killing cancer cells.
It's like giving those special forces soldiers even better weapons.
That's a good way to think about it.
What else does it do?
Remember those antibody flags?
The ones that mark cancer cells for destruction.
Yes. Q19 is a super efficient flag planter.
So it's like putting a target on the cancer cells for the NK cells to see.
Exactly. It makes them way more visible to the immune system.
That's awesome.
Anything else? It also boosts that ADCC we talked about.
Oh, the precision strike.
Yeah, by binding to SLAMF7 on both the NK cells and the tumor cells.
It connects them.
Exactly, making the attack even more efficient.
Wow. This antibody is seriously impressive.
It really is.
It activates, it flags, it facilitates.
It's covering all the bases.
So with all that going on, what kind of impact is it having in patients, particularly those with multiple myeloma? Well, the results are really encouraging,
Okay,
especially for patients who haven't responded to other treatments.
so it's giving them hope.
Absolutely. Clinical trials are showing some really impressive success rates.
That's incredible. It sounds like Q19 could be a game changer.
It really could be.
But before we get too excited, we should probably talk about the downsides.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because with any powerful therapy...
There are going to be risks.
So let's talk about those after a quick break.
Definitely some things to consider.
So what are some of the risks or side effects with these SLAMF7 therapies?
Well, one of the big concerns is the potential for immune-related toxicities.
Toxicities.
Yeah, when you kind of supercharge the immune system like this,
Right.
there's always a risk of it overreacting.
I could see that.
Like stepping on the gas a bit too hard.
So what are some of those toxicities?
One of the most common is cytokine release syndrome,
Cytokine release syndrome.
CRS.
Okay, and what's that?
Remember those cytokines we talked about?
The ones that act like distress signals.
Yeah, they amplify the immune response.
Right.
Well, sometimes the release of those cytokines,
Yeah.
it can be too much.
Too much.
Yeah, like a massive inflammatory reaction throughout the body.
So it's like the immune system goes haywire,
Pretty much, yeah.
causing more harm than good.
Exactly.
And what does that look like? Like, what are the symptoms?
It can be anything from fever and chills
Right.
to more serious things like organ damage.
That sounds pretty serious.
It can be, yeah.
So how do doctors manage that? Is there a way to minimize the risks?
Thankfully, we're getting better at recognizing and managing CRS.
Okay,
Early detection is super important.
makes sense.
And there are treatments to help control the immune response.
So it's about monitoring the patients and acting quickly if there are any red flags.
Exactly.
Okay, are there any other side effects to watch out for?
Another one is hematologic toxicity.
Hematologic toxicity, what's that?
Basically, it means the treatment can affect blood cell production.
Blood cell production. In the bone marrow.
Yep, exactly.
And that's a problem because...
Well, if the bone marrow is not making enough red blood cells,
yeah,
it can cause anemia.
which makes people tired.
Yeah. Weak.
And what about other blood cells?
If there's a shortage of platelets,
The clotting ones.
then there's a higher risk of bleeding.
Okay, so it's a balancing act.
It's
Using the immune system without it going overboard.
exactly.
So what are researchers doing to minimize those risks?
Well, figuring out the right dose is a big one.
Dosage.
Yeah, finding that sweet spot.
Where it's most effective, but with the fewest side effects.
Exactly.
Like Goldilocks.
Haha, yeah, not too much, not too little, just right.
Just right. I like that.
And another thing is looking at combinations
Combinations.
of therapies.
Oh, so not just using SLAMF7 alone.
Right, sometimes using it with another immunotherapy
Okay.
or even chemo.
Can be more effective.
Yeah, and with fewer side effects.
That makes sense, hitting it from multiple angles.
That's the idea.
Now, even with those strategies, isn't there a chance that cancer cells could become resistant?
That's always a possibility, yeah.
We've seen it with other therapies.
It's a constant battle.
So how are they addressing that with these SLAMF7 treatments?
Well, one promising thing is combining them with checkpoint inhibitors.
The checkpoint inhibitors.
They're another type of immunotherapy.
Okay.
They basically release the brakes on the immune system.
Oh, so it can attack even harder.
Exactly.
And that helps prevent resistance.
It can, yeah, because sometimes those cancer cells,
Yeah.
they find ways to hide from the immune system.
So this stops them from hiding.
Exactly.
Awesome. What else are they doing?
Another strategy is combining SLAMF7 therapies with cytokine treatments.
Oh, with those signaling molecules.
Yep.
Interesting. How does that work?
Well, sometimes giving extra doses of specific cytokines, it can really boost the immune response.
So it's like giving those immune cells an energy drink.
Kind of. It helps them keep fighting.
I like it. It's amazing how they're always coming up with new ways to fight cancer.
It's a really exciting field to be in.
So what's next for SLAMF7 research?
One of the most exciting things is the search for biomarkers.
Biomarkers.
They're like molecular clues
Right.
that can help us predict which patients will respond best to which treatments.
So it's about personalized medicine.
Exactly. Not one size fits all anymore.
That's amazing.
What else? Another focus is developing new combination therapies.
More combinations.
Yeah, finding the perfect mix.
To really knock out that cancer.
You got it.
And are they still looking at SLAMF7 for other types of cancer?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Beyond just blood cancers?
Yep, there's a lot of interest in its potential for solid tumors, too.
Even though the expression might be lower.
Right, but it's still there in that tumor microenvironment.
And that's key.
Yeah, because it can help us manipulate the immune response in that area.
This has been so fascinating.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I am. It's amazing how much progress has been made.
It really is.
But before we wrap up, I'd love to talk about the real-world impact.
Okay.
What does all this mean for patients?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, right, to be able to actually kind of fine-tune the immune system like this.
It really is. It feels like a total paradigm shift in how we treat cancer.
Definitely. I mean, for so long, it was all about attacking the cancer directly.
Surgery, radiation, chemo.
Exactly. But now we're realizing that our own immune system is the most powerful weapon.
We just had to figure out how to use it.
Yeah. We're finally learning how to harness its potential.
It's like we've cracked the code, the language of the immune system.
That's a great way to put it.
So now we can give it the tools it needs to fight cancer.
Exactly.
And those SLAMF7 therapies are leading the way.
They really are at the forefront of this whole immunotherapy revolution.
It's all very exciting, but how is this actually helping patients?
Well, we're seeing amazing results in multiple myeloma patients.
Ones who haven't responded to other treatments.
Especially those, HO19 is giving them new hope.
That's amazing. Extending their lives.
Yeah, and it's not just multiple myeloma. We're seeing good results in other blood cancers, too.
Oh, right. You mentioned that earlier.
And as the research keeps going, we should see it being used for even more types of cancer.
That's incredible. It's not just theory anymore. It's actually making a difference.
And I think it's even changing how we think about cancer treatment in general.
How so?
Well, it's not just about killing cancer cells anymore.
Right,
It's
yeah.
about working with the body.
Empowering the immune system.
Exactly. It's a more holistic approach.
So it's like shifting the balance of power, giving the immune system the advantage.
Exactly. And as we learn more, I think we'll see even more amazing immunotherapies in the future.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. So much to learn about SLAMF7.
It's a really exciting field.
But even with all we've learned, there's still so much more to explore.
Oh, yeah. Tons of unanswered questions.
Like what? What are scientists most excited about right now?
Well, finding those biomarkers is a big one.
Those molecular clues that can predict how a patient will respond.
Exactly. That's the key to personalized medicine.
No more guessing, just knowing what will work best for each person.
That's the goal, and it would be a game changer.
What else?
Well, developing new combination therapies is also a major focus.
Oh, right. We talked about that before.
Yeah, finding the perfect blend of therapies to really wipe out the cancer.
Like creating a super team of cancer fighters.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like that.
And are they still looking at SLAMF7 for other cancers?
Absolutely. Especially solid tumors.
Even though the expression levels might be lower?
Right, but it's still present in that microenvironment.
Which means it can still be targeted.
Exactly.
This has been such an eye-opening journey into the world of SLAMF7.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. It's given us a glimpse into the future of cancer treatment.
A future where cancer might not be so scary anymore.
A future where it's manageable, maybe even curable.
That's what we're all working toward.
It's incredible to think about the possibilities, all thanks to the amazing work of these scientists.
It's really inspiring.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
I want to thank you for sharing your expertise with us today.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this exploration of SLAMF7 and the future of cancer treatment.
Until next time.
Stay curious.